Hello, friends. Hello, hello. Ooh, I am getting some feedback here. Welcome to the Social Selling Sisterhood podcast. I'm doing a live recording interview with my friend Brittany from Clutter HQ, and she is super excited to be here. So I'm going to let her tell us who she is, what she does, and kind of how she got into it, because I love her story and I think a lot of you will really connect to her. So welcome, Brittany.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here. And my name is Brittany Bowman, and I'm the owner of Clutter HQ, where I help women declutter their homes and their relationships and calendars. And really, my mission is just to show women the beauty that can come along with simplifying everything that you do. We're masters at overcomplicating and trying to wear all of the hats. And there's just so much expectation in society to be all of the things. And I'm giving you permission today to not be all of the things and to really discover who you are. So I love helping women on that journey. I started out on my journey because just to be quite frank, like my marriage was suffering. Like, oh my gosh, we were just not fighting, just like not happy, right? Like we weren't connecting. We were just always doing things on our to-do lists and kind of like, what do they call it? Ships passing in the night or whatever. We just weren't connecting because we had all of this crap around us weighing us down. And I felt like I wasn't showing up as a mother because I was constantly tidying up and toys would come out and I'd have to put them away. And I was constantly doing laundry and like all of the things that feel normal, but it doesn't have to be normal. And that's when I realized like, okay, there has to be a better way to live. And so I happened to watch Marie Kondo's tidying up story or her show. And I was like, oh, she is onto something, right? Like she knows what's up. And I started decluttering my closet and it just took off from there. I was getting rid of everything. My husband joked, like, are you going to get rid of me next? But everything that left my house made me feel lighter and lighter and lighter, because at the end of it, like, I don't think you're ever truly done decluttering, because the whole experience is really honing in on who you are and what you love. And that changes over time. So I don't think you're ever done decluttering, but you do find that sweet spot where you're just really happy. And so I really, I started getting rid of things and I started feeling lighter and lighter. And the end goal for me was that, like, I just wanted to have like what we need. And I wanted everything in my house to have a place so I could put things away easily, clean easily. And I finally found that sweet spot of like being able to tidy up the house in like 5 minutes before somebody comes over, versus I need an entire day to get this house clean because, oh my gosh, we're about to have company. Like that's a huge difference. So that's what kickstarted it for me. And I started feeling lighter. I started being more present. I started showing up as a wife and a mom and an employee and a business owner. And so like completely changed my world.
Oh my gosh, I love that so much. And when you just said it takes you 5 minutes to clean up before someone comes over instead of a whole day, I'm like, I am not there yet. I'm like, I still get to declutter for sure. Okay, so how did you transition your passion then into your business? Because there are a lot of people I'm sure listening who they're already in direct sales network marketing, or they're not yet, but they want also maybe something someday that is purely their own, attached to a company. So talk to us a little bit about how you decided to do that and what that looks like.
Yeah, so when I first started decluttering, I was actually offering budgeting classes online, and I was just showing people how to do a simplified budget. And I didn't even realize like the two connected in a way, like simplifying. So I was doing the budgeting thing, and then I started I was like, you know what, I'm just going to start a free group for decluttering. Like, other people need this. I ran a challenge group, a free challenge online. I'm like, anybody who wants support decluttering, like, let's do this together. And I had tons of people popping in, and I'm like, oh, they need this. But then what I began to understand is that when my journey kickstarted, once I started shifting my mindset, things became really easy for me. Like, I was just like on fire. It became very simple for me to declutter. But what I realized that people were having trouble. They were like getting overwhelmed. They were stopping. It didn't come as natural to them. And I think when you start a business, right, something might seem super simple and easy to you, but other people are struggling with it. And so I'm like, okay, I've got to help these women. Like, they need help because there's so much beauty on the other side. So I just started offering free challenges, and then I started charging like $10, $20, like, just for people to get a little support, and to protect my like time and energy, like, I got compensated for it, and that felt good. And it just like continued to grow. And so, I have an on-demand program now. So I've like created lots of videos for people to reference, and I have freebies. And so it really just evolved, just out of like what people needed from me. It's like I was listening to what people needed, and I kept rolling with that because I really want to impact as many homes as possible. Like, oh my gosh, it will change your life.
I love that so much because I feel like when it's something organic like that, it's going to last so much longer. And like, that's kind of how my business got started with doing the social selling sisterhood. Is I just listened to people. Like, what were people asking me? And people who were not even on my team were asking me, how do you grow direct sales business? Because you do it in a non-icky way. And I really want to show up like you do. And, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. And then it's also something that you're passionate about. And I think everyone listening to you can tell how passionate you are about simplifying your life, whether that is you doing budgeting or you doing decluttering. And it just kind of naturally goes from there. And I really, really like that.
Yeah. Yeah. It was interesting starting out. I had people sending me pictures all of the time. Like, hey, I just decluttered my closet, and they sent me a picture. And it was so, people joke about it because I literally, like, I just gave myself goosebumps thinking about it. Like, I literally get goosebumps when people send me pictures of their decluttered closets. It sounds so silly, but truly it feels so good, and I'm internally celebrating with these people every time I get a picture. So definitely my passion.
I was going to say, that's how you know it's your passion when someone sends you one, when you're so well known, you've created a brand that people know that they're like, I can send Brittany a picture of my closet. And two, that you're like, I get goosebumps from seeing your closet. Like, yeah. It doesn't get any better than that, I don't think.
No, it really doesn't.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's chat a little bit about, you mentioned you have a free group. Would you mind sharing? And I know this is kind of off the cuff. We didn't prepare for this. But I feel like that giving value, while also creating small offers where you're getting compensated, because like you said, you do get to protect your energy and your time, and you are giving of yourself. Kind of share what that looked like when you got started, and maybe what it looks like now, how it's evolved.
Yeah, so my free group started as more like, let's get in there and support each other. And then I like kind of evolved into the leader, which I wasn't really expecting. But I do feel like people take the programs more seriously when they pay for them. So I know that, like, we get freebies all the time, and we just don't put a lot of thought or energy into them because they're right at our fingertips. We don't have any skin in the game. But so then when I started having paid programs, people really started showing up even more. And so we went from maybe decluttering a room to decluttering your house. Oh my gosh, I have to tell you this. So last month, I'm so excited about this. Last month, I had a client who decluttered her entire house, not her basement, but her whole house in 30 days. Her entire house. And I'm telling you, she was sending me pictures every night of trash bags leaving her house, donations going. Like, I was so impressed with her. Anyways, I was just really excited about that. But
that's what I need to do. Okay, this is totally a side note. Do you recommend, I'm just curious because you talk budgeting as well. Do you recommend just donating and like, let's get it out as quickly as possible? Or do you recommend like Facebook Marketplace, all that stuff?
Great question. And I do have a rule for it. I encourage every person who starts out on the decluttering journey to set their own rule. My rule is if I can make a quick $50 in 48 hours or less, I will post it on Facebook Marketplace. I'm not going to mess around with like eBay or like having to ship things because I hate going to the post office. Like, again, protecting my energy. I know I'm not going to drive my butt to the post office. So I will list it online. I do not list anything under $50. And if it doesn't sell in 48 hours, I take down the listing and I donate it. Because after you coordinate with so many people, people don't show up to purchase. And if you do porch pickup, sometimes they'll pick up the item and not leave any money. Like, so many things can go awry and then it's draining. So I like for everybody to keep their motivation up, just get it out of your house because we sit on items all of the time because, oh, I could make $20 from that. I could make $30 from that. Well, you could, but you're not going to because a year from now, you're going to be looking at that item again and telling yourself the same story. So let's get it out of your house and move on and enjoy life, right? Don't worry about it.
That's kind of that was kind of my gut feeling. I thought you might say that because like I just took a giant clothes bag of clothes to the thrift store. There's actually a thrift store right next to my school. So like I have no excuse not to be putting something in my car every day and like driving it by and dropping it off. But in the back of my mind, I'm like, some of these clothes still have tags. I mean, it's nothing over $50, but I was like, ooh, like, should I? But I also live in the middle of nowhere. So like porch pickups, probably not going to happen. I would have to ship. And I'm like, I just kind of feel like if I leave it here, I'm going to second guess it. And I just need to like get it out of sight and like get it out of my house.
Yeah. Yeah. And if you think about it, like when you bought the original item, like when you bought that pair of pants that still has a tag on it, were you intending to get your money back on those? No. You're intending that you would like them and you would wear them, but that didn't work out. And so that's okay. Bless and release. And I think that a lot of it just teaches, I look at everything really as a teaching opportunity. Like if I have a piece of clothing that still has the tag on it, I look at it and I think, okay, what did I not like about this? Well, I don't like stuff with like frillies on it or whatever it's called. And so now I know I'm not going to buy anything else with fringe or frillies or ruffles or whatever, because I just don't like the way it looks on my body. And so in the long run, you're saving yourself money by taking the time to think about what you don't like about what you're getting rid of so you don't make the same mistakes.
I love that. I love that. That's so smart. That's a good way to twist it too. So that you don't feel guilty about it. You're like, this is a teachable moment.
That's right. It was maybe an expensive lesson, but that's okay. Lesson learned.
I know, lesson learned. Okay, so a lot of, we've already mentioned this, but a lot of the people listening are women, moms, or not moms, but they're busy working, building a business. So what are some quick tips, and you can just give a couple, on just simplifying your life? It doesn't necessarily have to be decluttering, but it totally can be. But what are some things that you would recommend to the businesswoman that is like, I'm feeling overwhelmed with doing all the things. I don't even know where to start, but I need to get a simpler life.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think first and foremost, people need to utilize brain dumping way more often than they probably are. In fact, I just committed to doing a brain dump every night before I go to bed, because a lot of times you might brain dump something and realize how much of that, a lot of it ends up being like your to-do list, right? But like you realize how much of that is really not that significant, and you can just completely scrap it. And so one thing that I like to do is find creative solutions for things. And I really listen to what I'm saying to myself every single day. So like this is a silly example, but I had this moment of clarity where I was like, I walked over to the hamper and I threw the clothes in there, and I was like, man, I hate having to walk across the room to throw my friggin' clothes in the hamper every day. And I thought to myself, Brittany, that is so stupid. This is your house. Move the damn hamper, right? Move it. So I moved it. I moved it and problem solved. So, like, just listen to what you're saying to yourself, because you're probably giving yourself clues as to what could make your life easier, but you're not really listening because you're on autopilot, because you are busy, girl, and I get it. But really, like, take a moment to be present and think, like, okay, why am I irritated in this moment? How can I fix it?
I love that, because I do feel like we are in autopilot, literally so much, and we don't even realize it, because you're just in the routine of your everyday life, and then you're like, oh crap, like I am getting stressed out about things that I don't even need to get stressed out about, or whatever it might be.
Yeah. And your brain is literally wired to, once you do something so often in one way, like it wants to be on autopilot, and then it frees up space to like process other situations. So really, like, taking a step back and thinking about what you're saying to yourself is so powerful. And that can be true as you're growing your business too. All of those tasks that don't really motivate you, or they feel draining, or you avoid them. It's like, for me, it was my email list. Emailing to me like every week, it was just draining to me for some reason. I think it's because I stressed out about it. So I hired help. And now everybody, can hire help right out of the gate. But I do encourage you, if you are growing a business and you have tasks that are draining you, I really encourage you to look into hiring a VA, because they are extremely affordable, and they can free up your energy and your time so much that you are paying for that VA so quickly, because you're excited to do what you're doing instead of feeling drained by the work.
I love that. Yes, I try to stress hiring a VA, or hiring anything out. Like, it can be graphics, it can be literally anything, because it's actually, like you said, so much more affordable than I think people think it is, especially if you have the idea in your mind of, what you're already wanting. And I actually just listened to a podcast this morning. I'm trying to remember whose it was. That's going to drive me crazy. I can't think of it right off the bat. Anyway, it was Brooke Elder's podcast. I think it's called Social Tenacity. And she had an expert on there talking about, I think it was supposed to be productivity, but it ended up going into the procrastination side, and like, why do we really procrastinate? And a lot of it comes from those avoidance of doing the things that don't bring us joy or passion or things like that. And like, so then being really honest with yourself and listening to yourself, and like, okay, well, what can I do about that? Do I have to do it, like you said, or, can someone else do it? Okay, super quickly before we hop off here, you mentioned a brain dump. For anyone who does not know what a brain dump is, tell us your process for a brain dump.
Everything in my mind that needs to come out, because your brain is not designed to store information forever. It really wants to process the information. So when you brain dump, you're getting rid of all of the stuff weighing you down in your mind, and like allowing your brain to do what it's good at. So for me, I write down everything on my to-do list. I write down, this is one of my favorite things, and I could go on for days about it, so I'll keep it super short. I want you to write down conversations that you need to have with people. We all have these conversations that are lingering out there. Maybe we have an employee that's not working out, or we have a family member that's frustrating us. And instead of living in that frustration, Let's simplify the relationship, set your boundaries, open up to them, let them know where you stand in a kind way that's not harmful to them, but to really release how you're feeling. I write that on my brain dump. Like, okay, I feel this energy between this person and I is just not aligned. There's something happening that I don't like. Let's have a clearing conversation about it. So I'll write down their name, and then I write down a date of like when I'm going to take the step to talk to them, whether that be like, hey, can we go out for coffee? Or, hey, let's have a phone chat. And again, I really encourage you to do this from a place of love. Out of respect for yourself and the other person. But that's super important to put on your brain dump too. Like, get that out of your mind. Don't let it weigh on you anymore. Like, get it out of your mind and onto paper. I also will write down feelings that I've been having. Like, I was just really ragey today. I wonder why I was ragey. Or I was feeling super anxious today. And I'll just write that down. And it really allows you to, one, see everything on paper. So boom, you've got your to-do list down. And then I even like to go and say like, okay, well, this one's on fire. I have to do this tomorrow, or that like never needs to be done. I'm just going to take it off. So you can really prioritize your to-do list. You can start setting healthy boundaries for yourself with other people, and you can really start to process your emotions, and you can start to see patterns too of like when you're feeling this way or that. Hey, bud, I'm on a call.
Your thing isn't working and all the stuff came off, so I think we're going to have to throw it away. It's not for...
Okay, I'll come right down and I will assist you, okay?
Okay.
Okay, thank you, bud.
He's so cute. He posted about his birthday on Facebook. Was he the one who was like pouting or something? I don't remember. He was pouting about something, and I was
no. Yes. Yeah, we celebrate birthdays for a whole week here. Oh, do I have time to talk about birthdays, simplifying birthdays?
Yeah, please do.
Ladies. Okay. So this was kind of born out of the COVID situation, but we decided for Hank's birthday last year, or maybe the year before, I don't remember. COVID's been going on for like 55 years at this point, right? So we decided we're obviously not going to have a bunch of people over, but we still wanted to like make it feel special. So we had a week-long celebration. We let him pick out his party decorations online. We ordered them. We let him help us decorate the house. And we had a set of grandparents over every night, and we would eat together, celebrate. They'd bring gifts or whatever. Let me just tell you how freaking simple that was, because nobody got their feelings hurt because they weren't invited, because it was just like aunts, uncles, grandparents, and we split everybody up over 7 days. Hank had a freaking ball. He felt so loved. And this last birthday, I told everybody he is saving money because he wants to go on a Target shopping spree. That was his decision. I didn't have any toys enter my home, which is a major mom win.
Huge win. Yeah, you're like, DeClutter Queen is loving this.
Yes, and it was even better because if my mom sees this, she'll laugh. But we did the Target shopping spree, and he did get some toys, and then we went to show my mom, and he was like, I think I want to keep my toys here.
You're like, even better.
I was like, yes, buddy, that is music to this mama's ears. But truly, we like really simplified the birthday process, and it sounds like a big undertaking, and you don't have to do it all week. But my point is, make it work for you and your family. You don't have to please anybody else. You don't have to worry about all of that stuff that society tells you to worry about. Figure it out for yourself, set your boundaries, and you're good to go. Everybody in your house is happy.
Something that you just said, I don't even remember what it was now, but you literally just said something, and I was like, I feel like simplifying and decluttering honestly is a process that really starts inside, like with setting those boundaries for yourself, and not letting what other people tell you you have to do or look like or whatever. I was just like, oh my gosh, that's like an epiphany for me.
It really is beautiful. And that was the surprising end result of my decluttering journey, was that it really wasn't about the stuff in my house. It was that I now know who I am and what I like and how we function as a family. And that shifts over time. And that's okay too, because we hold on to a lot of stuff in our house because it supported us at one time. We liked it at one time. It doesn't serve us anymore, yet we hang on to it because we worry about the money we spend on it. We're afraid we might need it later. But it's like an outdated pair of jeans, right? Like you keep them because technically they fit, but you never actually leave the house in them because they're outdated and they look stupid. So it's like the same thing with all of the things in your house. If it's not serving you right now, you can release it guilt-free.
I love that. I love that. And I literally, guys, as soon as I get off of here, I feel like I need to go start decluttering. So I hope you got that same feeling, friend. If you get a little kick in your booty from my girl Brittany on all things decluttering, I hope this helped you. So Brittany, where can everyone connect with you, find you? And I will put all this in the show notes as well, guys, so that you can just click and follow. But I know that people are going to want to head over to your group. So where can they find you?
Yeah, so it's let's see, Facebook/group/free declutter. And I'll send you the link for that. And then I also have a freebie people can download that it's 100 items that you can declutter right now. Like literally walk through your house and get rid of 100 plus items of things that you don't need. So I love that freebie because people get really motivated with it.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to be downloading that freebie. All right, guys. So I will link all of that in the show notes. Definitely find Brittany, connect with her, join her free group. I'm in there and she posts some really awesome stuff and challenges and all the things. You definitely don't want to miss it out, especially as we are getting into the holiday season. I feel like holiday season, especially as I'm getting like my decorations out, I have to move stuff around anyway, and we're bringing new stuff into our house. So this might be a really good time to kind of even debate, like, are these gifts that I'm buying the ones that I want in my house long term? I mean, really.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, another thing about like gifting, I have I'll have to get you a link for it, but I have a PDF of clutter-free gift ideas that people love at Christmas time.
Ooh, yes. Fabulous. Yeah. Okay, guys, we will put all this in the show notes for you. Brittany, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time and sharing with us. I know everyone is surely as inspired as I am. So we really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're welcome.